Hello everybody, today I'm watching Exotic Animals in Ancient Rome by Salmonella Academy. I haven't watched Sam's videos in a long time and it's about time I got back to it. So let's see what exactly was considered exotic in Rome, in ancient Rome.
Hey kids, I was inspired to make this video while doing research on the ancient medicine man Galen. Apparently, he would often do experiments on animals in order to learn more about the body, his favorite of which was the Barbary ape, due to its anatomical similarity to humans. Now when I say experiment...
Just experimenting on animals to better understand how their body works, which can also help you understand how the human body works, especially if you're studying apes.
I don't mean push a button, get a peanut type things. I'm talking like Josef Mengele meets the plague dogs. He'd clamp their pee tubes shut just to watch their kidneys swell, cut their spinal cords in different places to see what went limp and what didn't, and squeeze their brains and make them go unconscious, to name a few. My initial reaction was, hey, that's neat, but then after some thought I was like, whoa,
okay.
Hold the phone. In 200 AD you couldn't get
that's
a
kinda messed up.
Even. Yet, if you had the right resources, you could order a goddamn monkey. Many monkeys, in fact. By the barrelful, presumably. Alternatively, if you were born in the right place, you could be the monkey poacher, making a living wrestling up some primates with nothing more than a net, a pokey thing, a hole in the ground, and a whole lot of ambition. So I got to thinking, what other kind of
I don't know, is it really that easy to catch a monkey? I don't think so. Not only do they spread disease, especially back in ancient Rome times, but they could seriously hurt you. I mean, it's a wild animal. They're gonna fight back if you try and catch them. So that definitely was a dangerous endeavor.
Animals did ancient Rome have access to? Apparently basically everything that lived in this part of the map. They were particularly fond of elephants. Apparently basically everything that lived in this part of the map.
That's
they
quite
were
a lot.
particularly fond of elephants, and it's easy to see why. Sure, elephants aren't that big of a deal to the average person today, right? You've been seeing pictures of them since you were 2, big whoop. But imagine if you
could
were
use
a
them in a
20-year-old
war.
man who had never seen an elephant in your life. The closest thing you've ever witnessed is like horses, maybe some deer now and then. You get drafted, you go out to battle, you're a little scared,
in war
but
you can use elephants.
You're ready. Then, over the horizon, you see 20 house-sized behemoths with giant tentacles sticking out of their faces, horns longer than your body sticking out of their mouths, all screaming their weird trumpety scream, making your whole body vibrate like Mars himself is shitting on your very existence. So naturally, Rome loved to show these things off all the time, just as a display of power. Like, imagine if...
I'm not actually sure how effective elephants were, because I think I read something about how elephants could easily be used against the people who are actively using them. Yeah, so just like I was saying, war elephants were extremely effective when unexpected or deployed against armies who didn't have their own elephants, but the Romans were able to defeat the elephants and turn them into a liability, so turn them against the people who were using them. And I did read this article just quickly, and it said basically what I was thinking. They made the elephants panic. They just attacked them with like spears, javelins, you know, that type of stuff. The elephants panicked and they ran away back where they came from, which was the enemy army. So, yeah. To defeat elephants, just make them panic. So they could be a useful asset, or they could just be a massive liability which destroys your own army because they're too unpredictable. They are still a wild animal.
If you were going to a speech in DC,
you can only control them to a certain extent.
You'd listen to every word he said. He's got fucking dragons. That's what it was like seeing the emperor parade around with elephants back in the day.
I mean, to be fair, people listen to whatever the hell Trump or other presidential candidates say without them needing to have dragons.
Of course, that wasn't the only use they had for imported animals. When they weren't being shown off in menageries, many of the exotic beasts brought to Rome were used in shows called venatios, which were basically like modern-day bullfights, only instead of bulls, you had whatever crazy critters the state could find. Lions, crocodiles, gazelles, whatever. Around 55 BC, Roman statesman Pompey the Great decided to organize one such event, the feature creature of which was, you guessed it, an elephant. Unfortunately, Pompey forgot a crucial Barnum and Bailey trade secret. See, you're supposed to break the elephant's spirit before before the show, not during. So the boys get to
Oh.
poking and the thing starts freaking out, just screaming
Yep.
and crying, even gesturing towards the audience like it was begging for mercy. Now the crowd at this kind of event was mainly composed of dirty, bloodthirsty peasants, and even they were like, holy shit, this is messed up. I came here for a nice,
Wow.
family-friendly
No way.
disemboweling or two, but this, just deplorable. Then they all start crying, and the whole thing just ends up being a huge mess. Anyway, these types of spectacles became larger and larger as time went on. It's said that Emperor Trajan once held a venatio lasting 120 days, during which some 11,000 animals
That's
were killed.
almost-
They also got
well,
pretty
okay,
elaborate. A lot of
It's 60 days away from half a year, but close enough. It's 1/3 of a year. It's 4 months. How could you possibly make one that lasts that long?
creativity went into keeping things fresh for the crowd. In 203 AD, they had a model of a crashed ship built inside the arena, and an assortment of 400 animals were set loose from the wreckage and then killed. That's what we should do for the next Super Bowl
of
halftime
course.
show, honestly. Just pack every team's mascot into a decommissioned submarine. Then, when they all run out, we have the troops gun them down while the national anthem plays in the background. Anyway, the ingenuity
To be
of the
fair,
people
that would be
organizing
pretty
these events
entertaining.
really knew no bounds. One time they tied together a bear and a bull just to see what they'd do. Unfortunately, all that happened was the stock market crashed. Also, fun fact, one Emperor Commodus is credited with the invention of a unique crescent-shaped arrow designed specifically to decapitate ostriches and watch them run around headless for a while. Seriously, they did that so
Oh
often
my
that they
God.
needed a device to make the job easier. Sometimes, just to shake things up, they'd have the animals kill the people, which was known as damnatio ad
What?
bestias. This form of execution was typically carried out using lions, but other beasts were used as well, including dogs, bears, and at one point even an eagle, although the guy was crucified first, so it
An
wasn't
eagle-
much of a
yeah,
fight.
okay.
So,
I was
moral
gonna
of the
say,
story,
how is an
if you
eagle
ever
gonna
end
defeat
up
a
in
human?
ancient Rome and you want to see some animals, you'll still have access to almost all the same creatures we see in zoos today, and the only catch is that something has to die at the end. Till next time, I'm Salmonella, and thank you for watching.
You know, anyone who thinks zoos treat animals horribly, just look at the Romans. Zoos treat animals pretty well today. I mean, the bar is pretty low considering these were shows where the animals were killed on purpose, but still. Zoos are far better than whatever the hell this was supposed to be. So, an exotic animal in Rome was just any animal that came from far away. Which, I mean, that's basically the definition of what an exotic animal is. An animal from a different part of the world. Yeah. Well, the only exotic animals I have would be tarantulas. And gotta be honest, I think that's better than fucking elephants. Because a tarantula I can actually keep as a pet. How are you going to keep an elephant as a pet? Is that even legal? Can you do that? I guess if you have a lot of money, maybe. Although I'm pretty sure that violates some sort of rights. I don't think you're legally allowed to own an elephant. Well, anyway, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next video.